Hello, everyone. Good Monday morning. Happy Monday morning. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Jacob. Thank you for putting in some news, Sterling. Good morning, Anissa. Putting in the iRobot agreed to terminate acquisition. Big layoffs at iRobot. Martinez, good morning. Good morning, Options 22. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, SoFi came out earlier today. That was pretty much the big thing this morning. Let's get right to it. This is a busy week. Busy week today. Not so much. Today, not so much. We have Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index still expected to be in contraction. Pretty big contraction. We'll see if that comes out better. Tomorrow, we got home prices, we got jolts, openings and quits, we got consumer confidence. Wednesday, we have, you got the crude numbers as always, but you got employment costs, wages, benefits coming out before the open, Chicago PMI right after the open. But the big thing Wednesday is the Fed interest rate decision, which will be a pause. But the bigger news will be the press conference and how people take the guidance for March, whether there'll be the cut in March or whether it's going to be another pause. Thursday, we got jobless claims. As always, we got manufacturing PMIs, and that's about it. But then Thursday, we'll talk about earnings in a second. Friday, we got non-farm payrolls. And we have the final numbers for January, consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So Friday's big, Wednesday's big, Thursday is huge for earnings, which we'll get. Why don't we just do earnings right now? Earnings, as I said, SoFi, thank you for Sterling for putting it in the chat, came out this morning. After the close today, not much. Tomorrow we got Pfizer, GM, UPS. Be real interesting to see UPS's stuff. Then after the close, big day after the close tomorrow, Microsoft, AMD, Alphabet, formerly known as Google, and Starbucks, Juniper. So, but you got some biggies right there, Microsoft, AMD, and Alphabet. So that's the big stuff going into the Fed meeting. Wednesday, Boeing, Phillips 66, MasterCard, but the big day for oil was on Friday. After the close Wednesday, you got Qualcomm. So we got the Fed meeting, then we got Qualcomm. Thursday, not much before the open. Peloton can really rock the markets. That's sarcasm. After the close, Apple, Amazon, Meta. So Thursday afternoon, you look at the market cap of that reporting structure right there. That is huge. Don't forget about U.S. Steel down there. Then Friday, it's Exxon, Chevron, the major earning oil, and then we got Bristol Myers Squibb. But big days are Tuesday after close and Thursday after close for earnings this week. And you got Wednesday Fed meeting, and then you got Friday non-farm payrolls. So that's how that all shakes out. How's stuff looking this morning? Let me just do a quick refresh of this. It didn't look like it refreshed automatically. Maybe it did. Tesla's 10K came out. There's a slight gap up. There could be a little bounce, percent B buy, a very slight bounce opportunity there. Chips still somewhat strong. AMD heading into earnings up. Microsoft heading into earnings is up. So, but other than that, mega caps sort of mixed. Sort of a mixed Monday this morning. Let's refresh this. Technology. Healthcare is actually lagging. You don't have a lot besides healthcare sort of getting hit this morning. You don't have a lot. You have a fairly quiet day going into a Monday morning. Fed watch, unless it's changed in the last 15 minutes, which we'll just take a look. Let's see. Again, we're pausing. We're pausing for January. 50%, so nearly 50-50. Very close to 50-50 going into March, whether it will be the pause or the cut. So that'll be very interesting to see how that resolves on Wednesday afternoon from the press conference. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cuts still priced in this year. We'll see if that also changes. Fear and greed, still an extreme greed. So that's where that sits. Overall, S&P so far, it's rolling over, but so far it's a sideways correction. The major support coming in at 48.90 to 4900. So that's the major support level. Let's just start there. On any pullback, that would be the first major level on a bigger pullback. You sort of have stair-stepping higher lows. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Very key resistance, especially on spikes above 49.25 area. 49.23, 49.25 area. See the spikes. It can't get any follow through. So that's a key area I'm watching for a first level of resistance. And then 49.28 is the next level. And then roughly 49.33 to 49.34 is the final level. Those are all the target areas I'm using on any break to the upside. If it does take out the high from Friday, where we had the sharp little reversal, 49.40, and then major cluster still at 49.47. Good morning, Legion Reaver. Good morning, Jake the Snake. What else? Good morning, Christoph. Good morning, Royal Palms. All right. Hope I didn't miss anything. What you put on Tesla? Oh, yeah, the share sales that have been filed. So where else do we sit? Where else do we sit? That's the key levels. To the downside, on a closing basis, I'm still focused on 49.06, which is the 62.5. And that would also take it below the 4-hour rotation zone. But more importantly, the 62.5 shifts then the percentage to try to retest the low area from last Wednesday. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to break. Especially, we're going with a Fed meeting. We could stay choppy, testing some upper areas, testing some lower areas, and see if we keep stair-stepping and compressing into the volatility compression. 49.11, 49.12 was the first key area of support I'll be watching into the open, then that 49.06. On the NASDAQ, interesting right now. We came back down. We hit the first target on the double. It is still valid. Now, if it closes above 17,677.50, the double top after hitting the first target would be done. Okay? What would be interesting is we might be wondering here, well, why do you have the, I thought the second and third target can't go into the wicks or beyond the wicks. Well, it's a well-formed double on the 1 hour. And so I'd be watching if it closes above 17,632 on a 1 hour, we could see. Now, this is going to be a lower probability double, but the targets would be 17,715, 17,756, then 17,798. Okay, so that's the key area I'm watching for the upside. Minor breakout area before that is 17,585. Then I'm going off 17,632. The support, 17,541, 17,500, 17,457 area. 457 to about 465. If this does not trigger, we roll over. We still have downside targets of the last two, 17,402, 17,346. So it's interesting. After hitting that, stalling out at the first target area, it formed that 1 hour double. And keep in mind, remember this was a lower probability double top because it was against the rotation zone, and we've reconnected with the rotation zone. So we could see that double bottom play out, but we'll have to watch that going into the open with cycles still going down. Snow gone there pretty much. Just a couple minor ice piles. Yeah, Ravens did not do so well yesterday. I mean, crude gapped up and did a quick reversal, which was, I mean, it's sort of caught between what's going on in the Middle East and then slowdown fears. But we'll get to crude in a second. The Dow, not much. Just keeping an eye if it breaks above 38,300. 38,375, then 38,425 area, then 38,552, still holding above the prior resistance, becoming support with the rising rotation zone. Key area I'd be watching first is about 38,100, and then I'd be looking at Friday's lows around 38,50. The Russell still getting rejected on any pops above this 2001 area. It's getting price rejection. So that's my first target area. And then the major areas about 2015, 2016. Before I can get any more short-term bullish in the Russell, it needs to close above 2025. The key support, the major support is coming in about 1972. The minor support about 1980. The VIX is popping up earlier this morning. Remember, that does not have to be bearish going into this. It's also because of the week we have with the Fed meeting, with earnings. It's just people putting on some protection and paying up, driving the volatility a little, or the implied volatility a little higher. But it'll be interesting to see if that fills the gap to Friday. But that's why it's not because the markets are necessarily bearish this morning. It's because people are bidding up implied volatility. The DAX, still watching to see if it breaks above the highs from the 2nd of January. A little pullback here. Major support now, though, is about 16,900. Other than that, watching to see if it can catch the rotation zone and rotate up. Notes, slightly up this morning. Still potential double in play. It's getting very sloppy. But that's what I'll be keeping an eye on. It's going to be hard pressed, and again, this is getting very sloppy. The 10-year actually has confirmed a double top, but not yet triggered it. Right there, 4073. What was the close here? 40. What was the close? 4073. So close right at it, not beyond it. So this was a close right at it, which is not officially a trigger. It would need to close right beyond it. So, but it is, what's the word I'm looking for? Confirmed. Which means now if it rotates back up, it's off the table without triggering. It is not triggered, though. So, and I need the trigger on a daily basis. A daily basis. And then the rotation zone would be out of the way. So that would be for Powell being dovish, especially going in. If they think Powell's going to be dovish and start cutting in March, that could be the trigger point. 10-2s, almost gapping up to that -8, but now backfilling. Will be interesting to see if this puts in a double top. But nothing yet there. Dollar index, euro rolling over with some ECB dovishness. So I'm keeping a clear eye on that 103.60, the same thing as last week. So you see it's been every little sell-off attempt has been buying up, and now it's looking to break out. So about 103.60 to 103.80 is my first target area. Then above there, 104.40. It would need to start closing below the rotation zone, back at 102.70 now, before I'm looking then for another pullback play. Crude, which Christoph talked about earlier. Gap up and the quick gap fill and the extended. It hit, again, my key target area. If you look here, you can see we had the target area. We hit that on Friday, between the 200 and the 77.80 to 78, and then we gapped above it this morning. So we're also overbought with cycles at the top. So it'll be interesting. With the rising rotation zone, now the major support is about 75.50. Minor support is coming in about 76.40. So as long as we don't start breaking below those areas, I'm watching for continued pressure to the upside. In the short term, we're trading against some minor support right here to 77.30. If that breaks down, though, you don't have the next key support till that 76.40 area, and there's no bottoming pattern just yet on the pullback. Natty gas contract roll. That's why the big gap down today, but nothing else to talk about there. Gold looks like it's trying to at least get a break above. No percent B trigger on Friday. Nothing set up for today. On any rally, key resistance is about 20.50 again, but no great setups there in the short term. Long term, still bullish. Yen, also I'm watching to see if it can break above this 148.35, 148.40 area. Again, the minor target then would be back at 148.80. Major target, 150. Euro, rolling down. Finally getting the close. Well, we don't know how today is going to close. It could, again, snap back like on a Friday. But well below the 200 again. Look at it as many times. Remember, closing's more important than lows. People, oh, it broke the 200. No, it never closed below the 200. And now it's rolling down. Target 107.94. And then we start coming into there. My next target is, because remember, we could find support between the 50 and the 62.5 harmonic. My next target is the 107.60 area, then 107 even, roughly. Nothing going on with the pound. The spiders, 487.52 going into the open. Minor gap fill to Friday would be to 487.41. Then I'd watch for Friday's low, 486.50 area. Major support right now is coming in about 485.40, 485.50. And then if it did break down the rotation zone, 483.45, but not expecting that today or tomorrow. Unless there's some sudden news out or something else. I mean, that can always shift anything in the markets. Right now, the key target is still the 489.92 to 490 on any move back up. And there's no double here. There's no double. It's just a horizontal. And so keep an eye at that 486 on any minor. If we do break down, that's the 4-hour rotation zone. That's the minor area. And then the Qs, 420, 429. Looking to be around the opening area. 423.81 would be for the gap fill. All right, 423.81. 424.44 is where it opened on Friday, and we're trading roughly just slightly higher than there. So that's the first key level. If we're at any pullback into the open, that's the first key area I'd watch. Then I'd look for the close. And then the low. Friday's low, it was also a prior gap fill. Friday's low is pretty key. 423.15. Below that, you have 421.25. To the upside, pay close attention on any rally to Friday's high. Friday's high, not because this is a percent B, just Friday's high is going to be very key on any rally. 426.21. And then it would be a return to that 428.40 area. Above there, 430.50 and then 432. Especially remember, we have some key earnings tomorrow afternoon that are going to influence the Qs and the NASDAQ. Confirmed daily double bottom in Canadian dollar, US dollar. Thank you for putting that in there. Morning, Heinrich. I did get your message. You reached out to me. Correct? I believe that was you. I saw one pop up. Let me know in the chat. Let me just verify I'm talking to you that you reached out to me. Then I'll answer. Tesla. Let's look at Tesla. I'm keeping an eye with the 10K out. I'm keeping an eye on Friday's high, 186.78, trading 185.07. 186.78 with a follow through with the close would be a very, very aggressive percent beat buy. My first target, and this again would be only I'd be watching a break above Friday's high for any intraday potential trading, but the first target area would be the gap down price, 189.70, then the high price, 193, and then you're roughly looking at 196. So it's targets aren't necessarily that much higher, and I would not be targeting first for a full gap fill, especially with the declining rotation zone. So that's what I'm looking at. Remember, we lowered the stops based off of Thursday's lows, coming really close to that stop reduction, like a buck. So the official stop level on the double that's taken forever to play out, 254.58. But it would have to do some major heavy lifting to even get through the 207 area. All right, what else do we have? I think that's about it. Let me just take a look. Again, we have Microsoft, AMD, and Alphabet. AMD, and that's for tomorrow. AMD has kept climbing higher. There's no strong reversal pattern just yet. I'll be watching going into earnings if it rotates back up and forms a little minor double top. But at least with the pausing bar here, if it continues to break higher on earnings, the next key targets would be 191.29 to 197.65. Those would be the next targets higher. Pay attention to the potential beans double bottom. This is oversold on a weekly. SA crops haven't started yet. And the funds have been selling hard in front of the farmer. Why don't we take a look at that? I haven't put up beans in here in a while. Wow, that's a beautiful double bottom. That is a beautiful double bottom. Look at that key support. Man, Chris, you are good, Christoph. I haven't honestly been not looking at beans, so thank you. But that's a really nice double. Doesn't mean it has to trigger, but that's a really nice double against key support. That's decent. Then if it got through that final target, the next one could be about 1340. Next key target above. Bitcoin percent B buy. Where's my Bitcoin? There, my Bitcoin. Bitcoin had this went way too long on the daily. On the weekly, there was nothing, and today in the short term, there is nothing on a buy pattern. This was not. Again, start with the strictest rule, which is the day after the setup. If it does not close above there was no buy. This was just a little breakout play. So I don't have a percent B buy on the one-day rule. We're back at cycle top. Yes, I did. Did you find that? All right, I'm glad I was going to ask you about that. Glad you found that. Okay. So, just want to make sure because you were using NinjaTrader. All right, with that, let's just peek at the S&P going into the open. Again, going into the open, we're looking at about 49.13, 49.14 to about 49.21. In between there, it's no man's land. So, SMCI has earnings after the bell. Just an educational exercise. How would you choose your strikes if you were to sell an iron condor? Oh boy. Oh. I'd really have to do about the 490. The 4 tight would be 465 to 490. A little wider would be 460 to 490 if I was looking for that. I would probably not go wide on there, and I don't know if I'd be selling an iron condor into that. That is not the best. That is not my preferred setup to sell an iron condor. Personally. Because of this. But that is how, if I was trying to aggressively do something, that would be the area. I might even skew it more with a little wider to the downside. But that's maybe go down to, probably have to skew it if I was, because I'd be scared of some downside risk with this one. Overbought after breaking out of major. If this has any disappointment, yeah, you're going to have the volatility collapse, but you're also going to have some downside risk to it. So that's the way I consider structuring. I'd have to literally do some more analysis to look at some key areas, but the 440 is another key area. 440 is another key area. Yep, 440 is another key area. So with that, I got to jump into the open. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I will see everyone tomorrow morning. Bye for now.